to remind you on African Kona, we have a state of the continent and topics which are interesting to you. So catch us every single Wednesday and Sunday from 8 to 9 p.m. So keep it locked here on African Kona.
A very good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where and when you're watching us from. My name is Mutathio Ashirawanyaga, Mojiro Baria Karigizi, Nagwehoka Kumangogo Shedere Shumaga Huho, Muridayo. Today is a beautiful day. It's the 27th day of September, the year is 2023. And I keep saying, once we are here in African Corner, it must be, it should be, it will be a good time. Today, we are going to be talking about tourism. Remember, guys, today is the World Tourism Day. And oh my, what a better time to talk about tourism like right now. And, joining me tonight is a panel of individuals who are very enthusiastic about issues of tourism. And I hope that once we go through this conversation, you guys will be able to, learn or get to hear something that you did not know previously. So today, as I've said, is the World Tourism Day. It's being celebrated across the world. So for those who do not know, now you know. And, this World Tourism Day theme is tourism and green investment, and investment for the people, for the planet, and prosperity. This is the 43rd year this day is being celebrated, and, it will not be right for us as here in African Corner if we do not do that. So I want to get into the conversation tonight, and I'd like to ask my panelists to introduce themselves, to share anything they want to share with us tonight, so that we can be able to know who they are. I'm going to start with Teresa, because Teresa, you're the only lady in the house tonight, and they normally say ladies go first. So Teresa, please introduce yourself, tell us what you do, who you are, and anything you'd like to share with us tonight. Teresa?
Hello, my name is Triza Michelle Mudambo. I'm the current president of African Kenyatta University. Apart from that, I'm also an entrepreneur. I have an inclusive fashion brand in which we make custom-made fits. I'm also a fourth-year student, and I'm also passionate about travel. I'm a travel enthusiast. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Teresa, for being here. We really appreciate. Cyril, also, let us hear from you. Please introduce yourself. Tell us anything you'd like to share with us tonight.
Hello, guys. I hope now I'm loud and clear.
Yes.
So my name is Cyril. My name is Cyril Bill. I'm a tour operator, and I also work with an inbound tour operator in Kenya called the Safari Company. And I also I've been trying to run a tour company, my own tour company. And I've been a tourism student, and I can say I'm still a tourism student because I'm still pursuing tourism in a higher level. And I'm always passionate about tourism because I love tourism, I love travel, I love wildlife, and being the theme of today, I think it's green investment, and this is something we would like to talk about. And so that's why I'm here today, to share my views, to hear what you guys want to say about the tourism, and to just know how we can change the tourism industry in Africa and even the whole world at large. Thank you.
Thank you, Cyril, also for being here. And now let us hear from the CEO himself. Aidan, please introduce yourself. Also tell us what you do and anything you'd like to share with us tonight.
Basically, thank you for inviting me to the forum. My name is Aidan Joseph Obuya. I'm the CEO of Aidan Safaris. As we have our own slogan called, we state it as life is an adventure. People like calling me the Jamie guy, the guy that looks for different places that I normally take people, things that are interesting to the tourism sector. And also that my company is more of a family travel company, whereby it accommodates everyone. So basically, that's how Aidan Safaris was formed. And this year we are celebrating 6 years. So it's I'm privileged to be in this platform.
Yeah. Thank you, Bona CEO, for that. We appreciate you also for coming up so that we can have this conversation. I'm also very passionate about tourism, so that's why I'm here to have this conversation. Especially, I'm really interested with the off-roading kind of tourism, where I see people, going to deep places in this country and this continent. So I hope I'll get to learn also from this panel. Now, let us start off easy. Teresa, what is that experience? I know you're a tourism enthusiast. Uh, what is that experience that you have had that you like, I really need to share this. This one was a moment for me. I know, Teresa, you're well traveled. I know you've gone to India, to South Africa, some parts of Africa also. So, Teresa, what is that experience that you had and you said, "Well, this was a good one"?
For me, okay, every country has had its peaks, but I'd say South Africa. South Africa, I got a chance to visit like different churches. And one thing I found interesting is that uh, how talented everyone is.
Mhm,
Like everyone can sing. That's how I
mhm,
found it. It was so interesting, and how they're still rooted in their culture and they embrace everyone's culture. You can find there's someone who knows how to speak all the 9 dialects in South Africa. There's someone who
mhm,
knows African, Sepedi, Zulu, and in Kenya, if you only know Kikuyu, if you're a Kikuyu, you just stick to it. If you're
mhm,
a Luya, you stick to it.
mhm,
There, if you need to know more. Don't just know English. They need to know more than
mhm,
their mother tongue. I remember my host family.
mhm,
Initially, I was practicing Zulu on Duolingo before I went there, and I
mhm,
still am. But my host family was Sepedi, so they speak
mhm,
a language called Pedi, and had not heard of that before. I had to learn it, like I
mhm,
had to, because they used to speak to me. They used
mhm,
to talk to me in Pedi, and I respond in English.
mhm,
Like I stayed there for a month.
mhm.
I had to, because them they learn their own language. They don't stick to English. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I hope Ali, my co-host in instead of the continent, is from South Africa, and he's from the Pedi tribe. He normally likes saying "Ele, ele, ele, ele." I don't know if you heard them saying that. Why,
Yeah.
guys who have not seen the show, they should go back to the channel and look for that. He normally likes saying that, and
Yeah.
also for
Something.
Aidan, yeah. Go ahead, Teresa.
This is just a joke, because I
Mm,
remember times I could not keep up with them, and
mm.
they used to tell me the English bundles have depleted, so I had to keep up with the payday. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was interesting.
Good, good. Ali normally tells me he's from the mountains of Limpopo. I don't know if you got to go through there also.
Yeah, yeah. My host family was from Limpopo. Yeah.
Ah, great, great, great. I hope Ali is viewing this, or he'll view it later, and I'm looking forward to hear his comments. And also for Aidan, I know you're also well traveled. You have a whole company that deals with this. And I would also just like to hear what maybe was your one of the most memorable moments in your entire, tourism ordeals. Which one stood out? Ukasema, this one was the best.
Actually, me, I think in tourism,
Mm,
I think the best place where I can rank 24 as in all time I'll recommend is Tanzania. I
mhm,
have done all the major game drives in Tanzania.
mhm,
I did a 7-day trip. If you look at Serengeti, look
mm,
at how well organized it is.
mhm,
Come and look at Arusha National Park, seeing the beauty of how they are well organized, how the hotels, how the hospitality is. These are the things that made me the culture. But now you
mhm,
come and find in Tanzania, the people who are living in Tanzania don't know about these things.
mhm,
Like, for example, I'm sure Siri knows all Kikuleto. So many Kenyans travel there.
mhm,
When you arrive there, you find only even the locals don't go there. Actually, at the time I was doing a study when I was last month, I did Mount Kilimanjaro. And you find the locals looking at you as a tourist. You see, they ask you questions. Mbona unapanda hii mlima? Mbona unaenda kujitesa? You see, I think something that is in between us. You get other things that I've also seen that in Kenya, places like Meru. Meru is a very nice national park. It's a very nice national park. People have not established it. They have treated it as Masai Mara. And I think these are the problems that most people don't like traveling, because you find, like, for example, like in Meru, if you look at the population of people who have entered, if you do a case study, there's a case study we were doing, find out that 10% of the people living in Meru know the national park. Did you know that? So you wouldn't find someone driving, like, for example, in Nairobi, we have the national park. How many people who live in Langata go to the national park?
Very few.
I think Sarah is a specialist. He'll tell us more about that. He will tell you how many people, even in Rongai. You see, so to me, I will not say Kenya doesn't have tourism. It has potential, a very big potential. But if you look at Tanzanian game drives, they give you the more experience than let's say like in Kenya. Yes.
No. Thank you for that. As Cyril, maybe let us also hear from you. You're a specialist. Which was that moment among the things that you do? You said, this one stood out.
Okay, first of all, I would like to say I love Masai Mara, because I'm so patriotic to my country. That's why I love game drives in Masai Mara. But I want to concur with Aidan when he said that Tanzania is more developed in tourism than Kenya, because I noticed something. We once went for a farm trip in Tanzania at Ngorongoro Farmhouse.
Yes.
So we visited Serengeti. And so if you compare the tourism in Tanzania and you compare the tourism in Kenya, I would like to say that Kenya tourism is going to die in a few years. Why am I saying it's going to die? Masai Mara currently is overpopulated with properties. We have close to 350 properties in Masai Mara. I think they're even passing 350. And you see, that's not sustainable tourism. And if you go to Serengeti, you'll only find a few properties in Serengeti. Masai Mara, we have many properties, many hotels. Let me use the word hotel for those who trying to wonder what properties are. Masai Mara is congested with hotels. And that is not sustainable in the long term, because you see many tourists, when they visit those properties, they come and overcrowd in the wildlife that's there. And when you go to Masai Mara, you're also going to find those Maasais also have their cattle grazing there, because you know Masai Mara is a reserve which is owned by the community. And so those Maasais are allowed to graze their cows and everything in the reserve. And that's also increases congestion in the tourism industry. And another thing I had with Kenya, I think the government needs to intervene in tourism, because tourism is really, this year actually, tourism is going to receive a big blow. Aidan has said, how many people have ever visited Nairobi National Park? You'll find a very few people visit Nairobi National Park. And now the government has gone again to increase the park fees for Nairobi National Park. From 2024, I think people are going to be paying close to 2,000 shillings to just enter Nairobi National Park. It was 200 shillings, 250 shillings. That tells you that not many people are going to visit that park, and it's going to kill local tourism. I've been dealing with some bookings of late. We have something called, we have a conservation in Nairobi National Park called Daffin and Sheldricks. I think you have heard of it. David and Sheldricks. Yeah. Now it's Daffin and Sheldricks. It has been running well, but right now you will understand that the non-resident tourists are being forced to pay the KWS entry fees to visit Daffin and Sheldricks, whereby they used to just pay I don't know if you're understanding what I'm trying to say. Let me put it in simple terms. The government has introduced new park fees for Daffin and Sheldricks, whereby the non-resident tourists pay double the price that they used to pay before. back years from 2022, 2021, they used to pay close to, I think, $20. But right now, they have been double the price. They're paying even more to enter into that place. And you see, I've had some bookings whereby tourists have cancelled to visit the financial. That tells you that the tourism industry is not going to be sustainable, and it's not going to last in the long run. So I think that's something we need to discuss and see how we are going to develop it and how we are going to strengthen our tourism industry in Kenya.
Okay, I hear you. Thank you, Cyril, for that. I can see comments have started coming in. Allow me to go through them quick fast. We have Kemani Mwangi saying it is great to be here. And then we have Leave, Laugh, and Love saying that he's tuned in. And he also says that Kenya, our conversations policies are poor. The fight between government and citizens living around Game Park even make investors fear investing in the area. And then we have Saifan Munda saying that, talking of tourism, remember we have tigers and swimming lions in Kenya from Hasla and Rigiji. So, okay, we'll be getting to that. Maybe you guys will continue sharing in your comments. We'll be reading them through. But let us just go back to the topic at hand, specifically, Kwanza, with the theme that we have, today for the World Tourism Day. We are talking about tourism and green investment, and it's the investment for the people, for the planet, and for prosperity. Allow me to start off with Aidan here. We're talking of green investment. You have been in the sector, you're still in there, and what is this kind of green investment that we can do, especially in the world of tourism? What kind of green investment should Africa, specifically take for in the sector of tourism? When we say green investment, maybe what even are we meaning, especially in the tourism world?
What I think mostly when I was following the climatic change in Kenya, and I was following the whole forum, they really left out the tourism part. Did you realize that? And if you look today, if you're aligned to your point, let's look. If you go to Luyaland, what is there in good in Luyaland? Do you know that we have Ruma National Park that I think Boss Lady was trying to really market about it, and people did not know about it. If you had to compare about the Ruma National Park, if we have more investment of people going there to build more, like the serious are saying that in Masai Mara, there are so many congested hotels and properties in. Look at, for example, if you go to Ruma National Park in Homa Bay, you'll find only 2 hotels, and they are normally fully booked. So, if you come into your point, let people come in, let the government open up to the people, tell them, hey, this is the land. We are having these fights, we are having the different investors come in, let them do nice hotels like the same that in Masai Mara. I think with that point, it will bring up the investment they're talking about.
Okay, I hear you. Thank you for that. Teresa, we are hearing from the experts, and I know you are very enthusiastic about traveling and tourism. What will you? Maybe you can also tell us from your experience. How has it been in terms of what we are hearing here? We are hearing that there is a lot of properties in Masai Mara, for example, and now today we are talking about the issue of green investment. You now, who's on this, let me say, this other side of, you want to experience, you want a good experience. What would you like to see? What are your interests when you hear of something like green investment?
Okay. Before I answer that, I like to break down green investments. Green investments contain green investments propel the sustainability of tourism by using eco-friendly methods. And what I'd like to see, things that have been seen in other countries like India, I've also been seen it in Tokyo, I've seen it in Seoul, that's been used in South Korea. I think if we embrace technological driven solutions, creating a massive spaces for both locals and tourists to experience some of our wildlife, some of our cultural heritage sites is going to be sustainable, it's going to be eco-friendly, even to preserve some of those sites. And I think going back to the policies, the land policies, like how far can people go when it comes to like owning land? That's something that needs to be regulated. And also having a community-based tourism. Aidan has talked about most of citizens in Kenya not even aware of some of our heritage sites, like post high school. If you don't learn it like in the syllabus, they have not gone there. They're not aware of what it contains. So having community-based tourism involving the community in some of the ventures, like either hosting tourists, having them having like tourists experience the local food with the community, involving the community in some of the policy making, giving the community a platform to take part in decision making will help them be aware of what's actually happening. Yeah,
Okay.
and even promoting storytelling of what's happening in the community will increase the community-based tourism. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Teresa. Cyril, you're in this space. When you talk about green investments, especially in tourism, what do we mean? And I know you're a critique of what the government is not doing well in this space. So, what kind of investment should we see? What do we mean? Maybe you can just try and break it down for common mananchi. What does it mean when you say green investment, especially in this field? And maybe that you can tell us what kind of green investment you like to see in this space.
Okay, for green investment, I think it's the sustainable ways that we need to work around the tourism industry. By sustainable ways, I mean how are we going to conserve the environment to be to accommodate the tourism industry? You get like we need to come up with ways. Let me give an example. When we had the climate change forum in Nairobi, I did not see the government touch on tourism following sustainable ways. We have an example of Embo River Camp in Masai Mara that is using electric vehicles. But I did not see the government talk about that. They were only talking about introducing electric bikes and electric vehicles to the streets. But what about introducing electric vehicles to conservation areas and to conservation sites? Because this wildlife actually tourism is one of the most foreign exchange earners in this country. And if we kill it, it means that we are going to reduce our revenue. We have properties which are fully solar powered, like Base Camp Mara in Masai Mara. And this is the way in which we are in the tourism industry. We are going to fight. We are trying to fight sustainability. And we have also seen other ways. If we talk about green investment, we have seen the use of glass water bottles by tourists instead of plastic water bottles. Since the government banned plastic, we have been seeing the use of glass water bottles. I think that's a conservation technique that has been employed in the tourism industry. But now when I come to green investment, the government needs to really invest in the tourism industry because we have seen I think it was last month where the Aberdare Rangers was under fire. That is due to climate change, I think. Those wildfires are being caused by climate change. But what is the government doing to prevent such types of wildfires in future? Because you see, when those wildfires burn half of Aberdare Ranges, that means that the wildlife that was staying in that part was consumed by the wildfires. And this, if it continues in the near coming future, we are not going to have wildlife in Kenya. I can just say that we are also facing human to wildlife conflict, whereby we have seen in Rongai, where we have seen wildlife veering off from national parks into the residential areas. That means that the wildlife are missing something, like maybe they are short of food, or maybe the conservation area is not well protected. And if we talk about these sustainable ways where we're going to conserve this tourism, the government also needs to come up with methods that they are going to make this wildlife sustainable in the near future, instead of just thinking of short-term things like introducing park fees the way I've said, so that it can earn revenue. But what about in the near coming future? Our children are not going to experience the same Masai Mara that we are experiencing right now. And if we talk about other areas, like Aidan has talked about Meru,
Yeah.
Meru National Park. Meru has
Yeah.
also been branded the undiscovered oasis of tranquility. Why is it being branded undiscovered oasis? Because it's undiscovered the way they have said. People are not visiting Meru National Park because it's not discovered. Because it's not discovered. So if the government tries to market, let me say promote and market this such type of tourism, we're going to see many people visit those virgin destinations. Like we have our Minister of Tourism. I'm sorry if I'm not supposed to criticize the government, but we have our Minister
No,
for
it's
Tourism.
allowed. That's basically why we are here.
Yeah, we have our Minister of Tourism, where she was asked the tourism numbers that come into Kenya, but I think when she was asked, she gave a wrong. I think she said we receive. I don't know. She said we received 2 million. 2 million. Yeah, she gave a totally different number compared to the number that we received, and that's a problem because this is now the person we have given the mantle to drive our tourism industry, and that tells us how we are going to sink. This is a sinking ship. We are not going to be sustainable in the near future if our Minister for Tourism cannot control the tourism industry. The tourism industry is being controlled by cartels who are not even well familiar with the tourism sector. So I think we just need to come up with ways as tourism professionals of how we are going to make tourism sustainable. Like I can say, maybe if you have a company, maybe if we try to sell to the tourism and to try to promote to the tourists, non-residents, maybe we try to promote like things like Ruma National Park. We try to promote things like Olpejeta. I know Olpejeta is mostly visited, but we try to market those tour destinations that are not well visited instead of trying to every time market Masai Mara. That's not going to be sustainable in the future. Ruma National Park has, I think they have their own antelope. That's something that's not the roan antelope. It's not in every national park in Kenya. It's only in Ruma National Park. We can also market things like Sayua National Park, which has the Sitatunga antelopes. You see, those are small parks that are not discovered, but they have unique animals to be discovered by the non-resident tourists. So if we work on that, tour operators, we are going to make tourism sustainable, and also we are going to improve the tourism industry in Kenya.
Okay, thank you for that. And I can see a question is coming in. Allow me to ask Aidan to react to this because I think he's in this space. Live, Laugh and Love is saying that how well is marketing done so that growth can come to the region? How safe are tourists when they visit the parks? So Aidan, maybe you can react to this.
Okay.
The first question is on
as
marketing,
we were
and the
talking
second
about,
question is the first.
like the way Cyrus is talking about, hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Aidan. You can go ahead.
Can you hear me? Oh, sorry.
We can hear
currently
you.
now I'm in Masai Mara. I'm sorry for that. Currently now I'm in Masai Mara. The net is disturbing a little. I think it's the responsibility of the county government to do marketing of its own gemin that is in the area. For example, look at I'll give you a good example of Homa Bay. Gladys Wanga has really done a good job, whereby she's trying to tell people how safe and how good can you market environment. Like how Cyrus has spoken, you see now the problem is the cartels. We do have cartels. Now, for example, let me take you through. Let's say I go to Ruma National Park. I arrive there. Even the road going to that place, most people don't know it. Actually, you can get lost to the two roads going to Ruma National Park. Even Meru National Park. Look at, for example, this one I'll always tell people. You see, Oljogi. Oljogi is one of the best fine hotels, but you see, it is luxury. Not so many people will go there. And actually, if you look at the statistics of Oljogi, Oljogi is over 75,000 acres. So which people go and visit there? Only us. And that visiting is when you do a poster, convince people and tell them that in this place, there is the only bear. You see? So that I think it all goes back, even as much as Sarah is talking about the government, we need to criticize also the government. It's not giving us enough. We have the young people who are in the counties doing good content, creating about a place. The government is not coming through to take the place. They cannot even discover and say, in this area, there's this nice thing. Can we come and visit it? Can we do all these things? That's why, if you look at my company profile, I'm so much on family travel, whereby our children should travel and see these things. Because if you're not lucky with this generation that we are coming in today with the government, you'll find even the tourism is no longer there.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Eden, for that. And I also like to hear the sentiments of Teresa. You know, Teresa, and you have a different case here. You know, you are more on the receiving end. You know, you are the one who's representing the people who will go there to experience this. And I don't know if you're sharing in the views that Kenya, there's something that is not right, especially when you compare it to the, you know, the way you have visited other parts of the world. Do you share in that view that, you know, Kenya, there's a lot of things that we're not doing right, and there's a lot of things that we can improve on? Teresa.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we can improve on. So since I'm part of ISEC, we usually get a chance to receive exchange participants. And unlike other countries, yes, there's usually, in Kenya, we have a different fee for non-residents. And even with that in itself, there's usually a push and pull, just getting the exchange participants when you're planning when you're planning the whole travel itinerary, and you have to like talk about the costs. And yeah. So that's some of the challenges we've been facing when getting like exchange participants to like experience the Kenyan culture. And from what I've heard, that they plan on increasing the entrance fee, it's going to lead to a decrease in our tourism. It's not a sustainable move. So it's true there's a significant difference from the non-residents who are touring in Kenya and like us when you're going to tour in other countries. When you look at the reception, when you look at the rates, since in other countries like India, we don't have like non-residents fee to visit tourist places. They're the same rates. Same to Germany, they're just the same rates. I think it's only East Africa. But
Yeah.
Because in
thank
Rwanda we had non-residence fee. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. I see Live, Love, and Live, Laugh, and Love saying that I think this earth should just be reset to 19, and we go back to 1953. The foundations of leadership in Kenya is beginning of all evil, indoors and outdoors. The roots are so strong to be uprooted. Okay. And then he's also saying that again, climatic change has again affected the wild animals. Kabisa. Talk of poaching and the government cartels behind those in government are the big enemies of our resources. Thank you for your comments. You can continue sending them in. Now, you know, Cyril, there is let me say, I don't know if I'm right, and you can also, you know, nirekebisha. There is the traditional kind of tourism, right? And it is multifaceted in its way, you know, even domestically, you know. But what are the other forms of tourism that maybe, let's say, are not conventional per se, that people are not embracing, especially here in Kenya? Today we were talking with one of our teachers, our lecturers, Dr. in KU, and he was telling us we have a problem. For example, in the Kenya National Museum, you find that it is so hard for you to access the museum digitally. If somebody wants to view the museum from maybe from Europe, from South Africa, from America, they cannot be able to do that. So, Cyril, is there other kind of tourism that people are not seeing and they're not embracing that can be tapped into?
Okay, first of all, Washira, if I can say, our government is full of jokers and bad policymakers in the tourism industry. And if I can tell you for sure, I've seen many companies trying to embrace these virtual tours. They've been trying to embrace virtual tours, so that's another way of sustainability, actually. Instead of congesting national parks, tourists can view those national parks at the comforts of their home. But I've never seen a virtual tour that's trying to detail some forms of tourism like cultural tourism. That's one of the forms that has not been tapped in. Cultural tourism has been left behind. All that people know about Kenya is the Maasai tradition. If you go to the States, or if you go to these European countries, actually everyone will ask you, are you a Maasai, or are you a Olympic person? Do you run? You see, why do they compare every Kenyan to a Maasai? Because Maasai Mara is being recognized by the Maasai culture. And many non-resident tourists visit Masai Mara because of the Masai cultural tradition, but don't they ever look at other cultures? So cultural tourism has been left behind. It has not been tapped into, because I'm sure the Kikuyu have a good culture where the tourists can come and visit and see. The Luya, what about the Nabogo Mumia in Mumias? What about the Nabogo Mumia shrines? What about the Luo culture, the Kitmikai? Why don't people visit those places? It has been left behind because most people are being told that wildlife tourism is the way to go in the tourism industry. We are also slowly forgetting about beach tourism, whereby most people are not even interested in visiting the coast nowadays. Everyone wants to go to Masai Mara, then maybe he goes to Tanzania, or maybe he goes to another country. I've done many itineraries whereby we have to allocate, we are being forced to allocate 4 days to Masai Mara, but only 2 days in the Kenyan coast, or only 2 days in somewhere like, let me say, Garendare forest, whereby the tourists can go to experience the local culture. Why are we allocating 4 days in Masai Mara in every itinerary? Because most tourists want wildlife tourism, and that's the thing that we have stuck in their minds, that wildlife tourism or bush tourism is the way to go. But we need to tap into cultural tourism. We need to tap into business tourism, because Kenya has become a business hub. Why don't the government use that to incorporate business tourism into their plan of tourism? Because the way it has been saying that it has been attracting many investors. Why don't we tap into that and also promote business tourism, like the MICE tourism that we have been seeing happening? That can be a good opportunity to earn the tourism sector some few dollars, actually. And also we can also try to tap into sports tourism. Our stadiums actually are being left behind. But one thing I must give credit to the government. I've seen, I think I saw in the latest news, Kenya has won a bid to host the AFCON football match. And I think that's a good gesture in the tourism industry, because we are going to attract people from Uganda, Tanzania, and other neighboring countries. But we need to go away from wildlife tourism and concentrate on other forms of tourism like cultural tourism. We need to tap into sports tourism, business tourism, for our tourism industry to grow. Tourism is not all about bush tourism and wildlife tourism.
Okay, I hear you, Cyril. And maybe Aidan, you can also say something on that. Is there any other form of tourism that Cyril has not put across? And maybe you can tell us, for your case, for you as an individual, and what your company is, also trying to advocate for, that is different, that is bringing something different to the table. And maybe we have heard from Cyril that you want to allocate 4 days to Masai Mara, 2 days to the coast. You can tell us why you do that, because you own a company. Why are you doing that?
Actually, I wish this thing was live on TV, so that people could really see what this guy is talking about. Actually, speaking the truth, because Mostly when you get an itinerary, like you get clients from abroad, they will tell you, I want 4 days in Masai Mara, or I want 5 days in Masai Mara. You come and tell them, let's do this. Arrive in the airport. I take you to Nairobi National Park because it's one of the biggest and only national park in the city. In the whole world, no city has a park in the park. Now, tell them, arrive, let's do National Park, go to Amboseli, go to Masai Mara, go to either Ruma, or I even take you to Kisumu. Why we live in North Kisumu? Who has Impala? Actually, let me tell you, Washira. Do you know Samburu? Have you been to Samburu? Samburu has one of the best hotels and wildlife. You see nice elephants. But today, where are those lodges? Where are those hotels today? They are all spoiled. What you book for a client when you reach there, I'll give you an example. I will not mention the hotel, but just know it is a big hotel. I was doing books with clients. We did the books very well, Washira. When the clients arrived that side, they changed the clients because they have taken a specific hotel, a room for their white clients. You know, these clients came, when they reached the hotel, they found something different. I will not mention the hotel. Yes, I have all the evidence. Do you know that clients got mad and went to my social media and wrote whatever I had booked for them was not what I'd given them. So this is all about, there's a lot of racism. Today, Aidan Safari is a 60-year company. Today we have other companies, I'll not give them names. They are booking hotels and they cannot fill. You call the hotels, you ask them, is there space? Write us an email. An email is replied after 4 days. So let's be simple. I've seen someone commenting there, why can't tourism be done like this? South Africa is done. E.g., let's look at Crazy Kena. Crazy Kena has done a very good advert for South Africa. You see? So, as in, what we are advocating even, at least the government, let the government listen to us. You see, they have the experience. I know there are big companies that have had enough experience. At times, you sit down even with your elders and tell your parents, listen, these people today love this and this and this. Bashir, have you ever been to the national park? Nairobi.
Sorry?
Have you ever been to the
I think we have lost Aidan there. You were saying something? He's in Masai Mara. Aidan, are you back? Can you hear now? Can you hear us now? Okay. I think there's some network issues with Aidan there, but Kevin Derito, our friend, we call him the man from Thogoto. He's saying that Kenya should advertise its tourism sector like South Africa is doing. So thank you for your comment. Now, as we wait for Aidan to reconnect back due to the network issue, let me also hear from you, Triza. Triza, you are a young person. You deal with you are part of the leadership of a youth-run organization, and you know we are saying that the young people we are. I don't like this thing that we are the leaders of tomorrow. We are the leaders of today. We are here today, not tomorrow. So maybe you, as a Teresa, and also in your capacity and as a person, what do you think is the role of young people today? Not what you're going to do tomorrow, especially in making sure that tourism is moving on in the right direction. Especially for us, maybe unlike Cyril and Aidan, who are not in that space professionally, but what are we doing ourselves in this other side, and what can we do as young people? And maybe you can mention some of the things that you guys do at ISEC there that does the same, Teresa.
So one thing I'd like to tell the youth is they need to dare to dream. And apart from daring to dream, apart from dreaming, they need to do it now or today. Start now. Don't say, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. Just start now. So what we do, we embrace cross-cultural experiences through exchange. And by saying doing it now, if you have plans of traveling, if you let's I can give you an example. So in ISEC, we usually have a regional conference called the Middle East and Africa Conference. This is where we usually have it's hosted by different countries annually. So this year it was hosted in South Africa. And it's never too early or too late for you to start traveling. So since this is a youth conference and the budget, like when you look at the costs entailed in going for that conference, the delegate fee, there's transport, when you reach to that country you want to tour. So we created a contingency plan. There's some people who decided, and they're all under 23. Kenyans who decided they're going to travel to South Africa by road. That is daring to dream. These are people who don't have any travel experience. They've decided to dream, to dare to dream. They decided to look for funding. If you want to, I believe if you set your mind to do something, you can do it. You do not have to wait for you to reach a certain age for you to start traveling. There are fellowships that sponsor people to travel. There are companies, if you're traveling for a cause, they can sponsor you to travel or cater for some costs. So an avenue that we took, we even got a partnership with Qatar Airways for those who are going by flights to get discounted prices on planes. So it just depends with how determined you are. Just because you're young does not mean you cannot achieve. An example of, for me, I traveled by air. I looked for funding I did a whole fundraiser to travel because a determined mind is a championing mind. So one of the ways you can fundraise travel as a young person, just because you see people traveling does not mean they have money, but they're traveling for a cause. So one of the ways you can fundraise your travel as a young person is through looking for discounted looking for discounted prices. Like when you look flight prices, when you Google, you can get that. There's some fellowships for travel. You can approach organizations that support youth that can fund your dreams. But it's better if you're in a group, because when you're going to South Africa, we were in a group. And when we're approaching companies to fund your travel and they see the impact behind it, it can serve. So for the ones who went to South Africa by road, they used only 25,000. That's one way from Kenya to South Africa. Yes, it was not easy because ISEC is in over 125 countries, so they were being hosted. When they reached Tanzania, they were hosted. When they reached Zambia, they had a host. When they reached Botswana, they had a host. When they reached South Africa, they obviously had a host because that was their final destination. But I'd like to show you that you can travel at whichever stage of your life. You're never too young, you're never too poor, you're never too rich. If you set your mind to it, you can. An example, last year, I only had 15,000. I sold some, I have a business, like I said, an inclusive brand. I sold some things to get money to visit Rwanda. So in Rwanda, from Kenya to Rwanda is just 5,000. That's one way ticket. So in my mind, I had set, I need 10,000 money to go and come. And the 5,000 on top was upkeep. But I had a host who was an ISECA. So, and it was not going there forever. It was just a short time. But if you plan yourself as a young person, you can be able to achieve the inevitable. You just need to sit down, create a plan. You can go wherever you want to go. I've seen it happening with my circle. I've seen it happening with myself. If you are determined, you can go where you want to go. You're
Okay.
not too
Thank
young
you.
to travel. Yeah.
Thank you, Teresa, for that, for the message for the young people. Aidan, we lost you. The kuna pahali network imepotea, but you understand where
Yeah,
you are. You are saying
yeah.
something. And also, as you also finish up on what you're saying, just also answer this question. You understand the status quo of the tourism sector. And today, when we're celebrating the World Tourism Day, do you think we have anything to celebrate? What do we need to do better? What is that needs to do better? Who needs to hear this information that this is what should be done to improve this sector?
Actually, Washida, I'm very sorry because actually today I
Mm.
didn't know if it was World Tourism Day, and I'm in the
Yeah.
tourism sector. Because you see,
Yeah.
you see, even the government is not supporting us.
Yeah.
You see,
Mm.
I remember when we had Moody Warriors. Actually, do you know that Moody Warriors reduced all the game park fees? Did you know that?
I did not know that. Najua saa hii hiyo.
I think Cyril will tell you that the game parks were very expensive. For that, even us Kenyans will not enter the game park. But he's the one who came, and even during his time, he's the one who changed he even brought out the bus to take people in the national park.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, during his time, the parks were given discounts. Hey guys, let's go. Today is World Tourism Day. All the facilities that are available, let's go. I'll give you a very simple example. At Kenyan Museum that is here at the first Kenyan, the famous one that we used to go as kids. Do you remember you going to that place, or even your school was taking you there? You will see the reptiles, or these are the Kenyan culture. We had the Kikuyus sleeping with goats in the house. We had the Luos good for fish. You see all these things. Now we cannot accept them. Today's era, everyone is looking for money. The way are saying, it is just about you to save. You keep on saving slowly by slowly, and then you'll access these parts. But coming on our topic for today, Tourism Day, what is there to offer? I've not seen the government even matching. Actually, we are in the showground today. I'm 100% sure KWS is not at the showground. I am sure.
Okay.
See, am I lying to you? Am I like that? I am sure they are not there. So you see, at this situation like now, even when the government has increased the prices of the park, I am telling you, even this Nairobi National Park. Before I went, I was asking you a question. Have you been to the Nairobi National Park anytime on a weekend? Now, today we have people with small vehicles. I'm sorry to say this. I'm not being a racist. Most of the people who are entering the national park, I hope Teresa, I'm in safe hands. I'm not being a racist. I would want to appreciate the Indians. They are really doing a good job in the Nairobi National Park. Every Sunday, they are inside there with their family, having breakfast, and these are the things that we miss as Kenyans. Now, if the government increases the price, how will I take my family to the national park? If now it's going to around 1,000, if I'm not wrong, even if it's 500 and giving them a hard time to enter the park. So I think we are really failing. I don't know who will attack. Even if our president was doing royalties, I think the wrong person, the Ministry of Tourism, she's in a wrong place. You see, because today is our World Tourism Day. They even tell us we have these offers. Look at when Balala was there. All these offers are. I think, Cyril, what program did Balala bring? It was something to do with the parks. I'm forgetting the name.
I remember one notable thing that he did. He tried to tell the non-resident tourists that they can adopt those hyenas. It was a good move, whereby they used to give them names. Where you adopt a hyena and it's being given your name. Something that trended really well.
Yeah. So you see, Washira, with such things, why do we have people coming from outside to get the animals being named? This is Kenya. We love our own country. We need to travel. One thing I love the way Teresa has explained. I'll give you a small story, Washira. You see, in my company, I was one day challenged. A client called me and told me, Aidan, I have seen your tour company. I have seen all these things. I would love to do a honeymoon. This guy is newlywed. He doesn't have a lot of budget. So I told him, obviously I'll not mention the name, but he had a very small budget. It was around 40,000 Kenyan shillings for a honeymoon. So I told him, listen, I'll give you a honeymoon because I'm in tourism and it's my passion. I took this guy to Tanzania. I booked him a bus, a luxury bus. He went, he was received very well on the other side. He had his good time. Do you know that in Kenya, the hotel that I sleep in, if I was to pay 6,000, I think Sarah will correct me. If I am in Tanzania, I'm in almost a 4-star hotel. Did you know that? Because you know, we have to look at these things. Currently now, I'm planning even to do a very nice cottages in Homa Bay, so that people can come and visit these places. You see, because where we have reached today, it's either the way Siri is saying, it's only Masai Mara. Kajiado, they are nice places, but the tourist companies that are coming today in Kajiado, they're only seeing them as road trips. You see, you see where the problem is coming. Today, we encourage all these tour companies, but the problem is, even if you're going to Namanga, let's look at the culture of the people in that side. There are not only Masais there are different types of people in that area. You see, if you want to visit even, let's say Meru, let's say look at all these places have culture. Go to the community, meet the community people, have all this good. There's something I'm trying to do, because people are saying that every time you have to do charity. When we are tourists, we need to visit the local area. I am sure in your area, the village, there are kids who are suffering. So I am trying to do a program whereby I will go and visit these kids, but I will not donate to them. We will take them outing, the nearest historical site that is next to them, so then they can also learn. You understand?
Yeah.
So there are all these things, Washira, that us basically as the youth, when we sit down, we have to realize. There's a forum you want, I was telling someone. You see the tourism of today. We are lucky that our kids will not see what tourism was. You see, you will not find what tourism is. We will go down and people are like, let's travel to Tanzania. Let's go to, like in Uganda. If you visit Uganda, you go to Kabale National Park. You'll see the gorillas. The tour guides there really take you through. Upper Kenya, as I will tell you, Upper Kenya, you have to study all the national park by yourself. He's going to tell you that. I am sure when Teresa was in South Africa, she can attest to you. She had a good experience. The locals told her, they taught her all things. But now in Kenya, it's really affecting us. And it's so sad that today it's World Tourism Day and there's nothing they have done. You see, even, let's say even they could have said, even visiting, for example, look at, okay, I like the way Sakaja has done Nairobi, which will help us as tourists, that, tour company, that now when you do an itinerary out of the Nairobi National Park, they can say, let's take you to Uhuru Park, and see what's in Uhuru Park. You see? Yeah, so basically, I think that is the best. As for that, I will not talk so much, but I think I've tackled your point.
Okay, I hear you. Thank you for that, Aidan. So I can see more comments coming in. We have somebody by the name Maureen Areba saying, the policy makers prefer to tour outside Kenya than exploring what our country has to offer, so as to know how to best market us to the world. Hence, the misinformed statements like swimming lion. And then you also have Dunga saying that, what about school? Are pupils still being taken to animal orphanage? Lukenya, Acacia Camp, Lake Elementaita, etc., aside from academic reasons. That's another way to promote local tourism. So that's from Dunga. Thank you, Dunga, for your comment. Now, as we wrap up now, because I can see time is not on our side, let us hear from Cyril, as you also tell us. We saw the COVID-19 the other day hit this industry quite hard, and it was not a good time for the tourism companies. I'm sure Aidan can attest to that, and we saw it. And what now are the measures that are being put in place for in that industry, so that we can be able, in case there was information the other day that there is another pandemic that is coming that might be worse than COVID-19. How true that is, I don't know. But maybe Cyril, you can tell us what has been done in the industry, so that we can be able to prevent, or we can be able to have like a shock absorber for this, or what can be done.
I think, Washira, if I can say, COVID-19 was an eye catcher for all the all the sectors, actually the industry players in Kenya. And I can say all these things that happen globally always affect tourism, not just globally, even in our country. And I can actually pinpoint to Aidan that he can attest to you that no tour operator actually always wants things to do with that internal conflict or external conflict, those global diseases, because they really hit much on the tourism industry. Even the ongoing mandamanos that were happening just some few months, I think they're not ongoing. Okay, the past mandamanos that happened some few months ago, they really affected the tourism industry. And the tourism industry suffered during COVID because many people lost jobs. I can actually tell you, in Kenya, I have not seen so much what the government has done and what the industry players have done. Actually, I can say most companies used that opportunity to lay off even their workers and also to trim down their work staff. The tourism industry is still growing, but we can still see the government still trying to suppress the tourism industry by overtaxation, and it had been dealt a big blow by the COVID-19 pandemic. So from inside, I have not seen what has been done so much to improve the tourism industry, but actually positively, we have been receiving some few numbers. Numbers have risen compared to last year. And I can say that if we continue, maybe in the coming year, we'll see more numbers if we market tourism well. But if we continue the trend that has been going on over the past few months, that is going to actually kill the tourism industry even more than COVID-19. Because how can you tell non-residents that they come to Kenya without visa, then you introduce park fees ×2. So what's the essence of them coming without visa, then coming to pay overpriced park fees? I have had many bookings that have cancelled because of those overpriced bookings. And I can also say that the tourism actors also kill the tourism industry, because most of these tourism actors, the conservation areas that we are seeing around, actually, me just pinpoint names, like those actors like the financial risks, those places are not conserving the wildlife there. We have seen reduced poaching. So why are those elephants still there? Why are they not being released back to the wild? I don't know why they still use those elephants in the essence that they are conserving. Yes, those places are just money minting organizations, because you see that when the non-residents come to visit those places, they lie to those people that you are going to adopt an elephant, and another person will also adopt that elephant. Let's say 6 people will adopt one elephant, and maybe you'll be paying 500,000 for one elephant, adopting one elephant. These places are just using those conservation areas to print money. Why are we not seeing tourism clubs in these primary schools, in these campuses? They're dead because the industry players are not doing so much to introduce these tourism clubs in Kenya, in Kenya schools. Why is the Ministry of Tourism not trying to do that? We are seeing the government trying to also overtax content creators. I will not be shocked if the government will also start taxing tour operators who will be doing city tours in Nairobi. Very soon we'll see people canjos arresting maybe guides for Aidan who are doing city tours in Nairobi because they have not paid tax to walk around Nairobi city. I think for COVID-19, I've not seen so much, but all I can say is that maybe if we give the government more time, as it says, let's say in the next coming years, let's see if it can bring change. But for now, I don't think there's so much change in the tourism industry. It still continues to suffer, and many people are suffering in the tourism industry. You can see many tour operators closing business because they cannot sustain the numbers that they used to sustain. And many people are trying to escape from Kenya, going to Tanzania as a preferred tour destination because Kenya is really losing focus and about the overtaxing and everything of the park fees being increased. Many tourists are trying to veer into Tanzania instead of coming into Kenya anymore. And also the insecurity that we have been having in the coastal region with the Mandamanos, it has also made many tourists to actually think about not coming to Kenya but going to Tanzania and other places like Uganda. So maybe if the government will put in more effort, we're going to see the tourism industry rise by 2024. And also if the Minister of Tourism tries to do something about the tourism industry, not just going to the Kenyan coast to welcome those ships that bring I don't know where she was last time trying to welcome that ship that was bringing bringing. I don't know what was it bringing. Was it a university ship or what was it? I don't even remember what she was doing there at the Kenyan coast. But in Masai Mara, we are seeing many things happening in Masai Mara, but it's not being talked about. Actually, today I really cancelled a booking because there was a dispute in Masai Mara of an airstrip. Ngerende Airstrip in Masai Mara. It has a dispute of land ownership. That's why I'm telling you many cartels have infringed the tourism industry. Tourists cannot land in Masai Mara because of land ownership. Yet the government is just sitting there not doing anything. They cannot land in the airstrip because of that dispute of land ownership. So they have to use other airstrips, and you see you have to charge tourists extra cost of maybe trying to get them from an airstrip, which is about some few kilometers away, called Kikorok, to bring them to, let me say, something property like in the Masai Mara called Bush and Beyond, whereby they will be landing in Gendere, which is just near that property. So not Beyond, House in the World. Sorry for that, House in the World. So those are the things that are trying to kill the tourism industry, actually.
If there's no problem, you're also learning when you're hearing these names, so that somebody will hear that.
It's
yeah. So I hear you. Thank you for that, Cyril. I'd like to hear your final comments because I can see time is not on our side now. Teresa, let me just begin with you. What are your final comments, especially when we're celebrating the World Tourism Day in not a manner that we like to as a country? So what are your final comments on this day and anything and everything that pertains to our discussion tonight? Teresa?
My final comments, I just dare young people to be brave and bold to experience, to be part of cross-cultural experiences. Yeah, that's my final word.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you very much also for being here. What about you, Bona CEO? What are your final comments as we wrap up?
My final comments could be, let people just travel. Let people enjoy. Kenya is beautiful. Kenya is beautiful. There's a time I was, I have a small VITS. I have a group of VITS people. It's called the VITS Nation. And normally in that group, I'm a CEO who drives a VITS.
Okay.
Yes. With my VITS, we normally sometimes may talk with my wife and we are going different places. And we may find, like, for example, let's look at Ukambani. Ukambani has nice views, very nice views. If you look at the hotels, there's not any big hotel there. So people watching this platform, if you know you're in your village, avoid hii kitu ya kufanya kuna jenga estate, wachana nayo. Hiyo boma, that boma. Sarah will tell you most of these hotels are in their villages and people's villages. Construct something nice, make it look a tourist attraction, people will come. You see, all these places are visited. Most of these places, they don't have nice hotels. You only find nice hotels, Mombasa. I'm sure by the time I open mine in Homa Bay, I'll call this platform and give me credits there. It is how Let's make these places look nice. Look at Naivasha. People have become creative. I like the guy called BMM Bikes. I think you should visit that place one of the days. Very creative. Look at Naivasha West Beach Camp. These are places that when you take people with their families and book for them, they really enjoy. Look at places like we have the geothermal. These are places people should visit. My final remark is, let the government listen to us, the youth. I don't know who stands for the youth. Maybe the specialist will tell us when he's doing the final remarks. I've never seen a youth leader in the tourism. Let them give us a chance. There are so many places. And let them, the locals, like this, most of these falls, people are visiting. You hear people going for hikes. Let's look at this. Cyril, the only place that I think when people go for hiking and can sleep is Mount Kenya. Yeah. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No.
Now let's look at Longonot. Why aren't people investing in their cottages? Yeah. Let's look at Satima. People are going there. Abadeas, we have only one. It's Abadea cottages. So you see, even as we come back to this, let the government also encourage people. Juicy, this guy, what's his name? The government, the guy who was hosting the climate changes. He said, stop building malls. We have enough malls. Let them build a place where when we have conferences, you see, seminars, people are very many. The same way I'll tell people today, people who want to invest on nice hotels, go to these places. You do know that you can lease land in the government, in the KWS, and build something very nice. As a Kenyan. And my final remarks, those who are, I think, Teresa, you can a market kidogo hapa. We are having a trip on going to Oljogi. The panelists in this place, you can come. I think I'll give you my invitation. Let's go to Oljogi and visit and see how these people are really, actually Oljogi is a very nice place. I think I will look at my company and give you guys a ticket so that you come and we discuss more. But otherwise, for the panelists, thank you so much. I've had a really good time.
We appreciate you very much, Aidan, for sparing your time to be here with us. Tunaelewa uko Mara, but you've said you're going to be here. We thank you. We don't take it for granted. And Cyril, also, your final comments. I know I've kept you up today. So what are your final comments as we wrap up?
Okay. For me, I think today I can sadly say that I don't have something to celebrate the World Tourism Day. Because I don't feel like there is anything to celebrate today, because the tourism industry is still suffering. And all I can say is, you see that policy of buy Kenya, build Kenya. I would like to advise many people there, tembea Kenya, so that we can also build the tourism industry, instead of just visiting other places. If you ask most of these ladies, let me just ask Teresa, in your group, maybe your friends, if you ask them, where do you want to go? They'll tell you, I want to go to Zanzibar, or I want to go to Dubai. Nobody will tell you, I want to go to Meru National Park. They'll tell you, I want to go to Seychelles, or I want to go to, other places. But let's build a culture of traveling in Kenya. And also, the government should also focus on tourism more, instead of focusing on other things that they can use to earn money in the tourism industry. If we build the tourism industry in Kenya, actually, we are going to increase we are going to even pay this debt that they're trying to clear. Yeah. Instead of them using radical measures, they need to use slow measures. Even if it's introducing those park fees, let it be introduced gradually. You get, they should not just introduce it once and kill the tourism industry. And to Kenyans, let's not bargain so much when these two operators give us packages, because if you ask someone out there, he'll rather spend 10,000 in a bar somewhere to drink or to have fun. But if you give someone a 10,000 package, or let me just say a 4,000 package to Oljogi, the way Aidan has said, someone Mkenya atakwambia hapana, punguza bei kidogo bana, ama mbona nilipe 3,000 kwenda Oljogi. But you get, that's also a good experience to learn and to experience. The government itself, let me say something about traveling. Traveling is important, and that's why the government is not exposed, and that's why you can hear people talking about swimming lions. people need to travel so that they understand there's a difference between sea lions and lions. The Simba in the wild and the sea lions. Tigers are not even found in Kenya because these people have not traveled. They are not promoting the tourism industry, and that's why they have the audacity to say that you can find tigers in Kenya. Because they have not even traveled these places to discover that tigers are only found in Asian countries. That's a problem because you see, if you tell our children that tigers are being found in Kenya, it's creating a problem. So the best way is schools should take these children into the wild and show them a difference between tigers and lions, and not lions and leopards and cheetahs, and tell them this is a picture of a tiger and now this is a lion. That will expose the tourism industry and it will build the tourism industry. Otherwise, I'm thankful for this opportunity, and thank you, Ashira, for inviting me. It was actually a nice conversation. I wish it would have continued up to even tomorrow because we have many things that we need to speak about this tourism industry. And thank you for also giving me this opportunity to meet tourism actors like Aidan there, and also Teresa, who is also part of the tourism industry through the visitors who travel to places. Thank you for this opportunity, and maybe if we have another chance, I'll be glad to have this conversation again.
Thank you very much, Cyril, also for being here. I think our program's director is hearing that. I hope he'll be able to schedule that. So, Peter, the message is home due to public debate. I also feel time I'm looking, it's 1 hour 16 minutes plus. I've really enjoyed the conversation. Nimezama ndani hata I've forgotten you're supposed to end like 16 minutes ago, but it is okay. It's been a good conversation, and thank you very much. I see somebody by the name Samuel Kasira saying it's great to be here. What a good discussion. Thank you. I also want to thank everybody who has joined us live, everybody who's going to watch this later. We appreciate you very much. And in a special manner, I thank my panelists today. It has been a good one. I thank Cyril, Aidan, and Teresa. Thank you very much for sparing your time to have this conversation. We appreciate. Just to remind people, this Saturday we had said you're going to Nairobi Arboretum. I hope that is also part of the tourism kind of. So Ashira Speaks Fun Day will be happening at Nairobi Arboretum. Those who have the tickets are already sold out. So if you signed up, see you then. We are going to have a lot of fun. And from my end, I'd like to thank you very much. Wish you a wonderful night. And before you go, more comments by Maureen Areba saying that thank you for this conversation. So thank you also, Maureen. Yeah. I don't want us to stay here. Many questions might start coming in, and then we'll have to answer them. And from my end, good night. My name is Mutathio Shirawanyaga. Layo.
Here to remind you on African Kona, we have a state of the continent and topics which are interesting to you. So catch us every single Wednesday and